Mr. Dutt. No, 1 second, Mr. Dutt. 1 second. 1 second, Mr. Dutt. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute, Mr. Dutt. 1 minute. It doesn't require too much detailed aeronautical knowledge to know that unless the radar has been switched off, a very powerful radar at Kalaikonda, the plane cannot enter from Karachi. And mind you, Mr. Dutt, this was a plane which was serviced by a company called Shaheen Aviation, with whom Kim's company had an MOU of some sort. And Shaheen Aviation is known to be a front of the ISI. I'm sure as a former police officer, you know that very well.
The landing permit was thought and given to this handling agent.
Yeah, so my point is, look at the situation, Mr. Dutt. A plane comes through Karachi after waiting for 48 hours in Pakistan. 1 minute, sir. And then is serviced by a company that has open links with the ISI, comes into Varanasi. You are telling me we discussed this with the Indian Air Force. I mean, are we to assume that everyone went sleeping on that night?
Anap, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's one more fact that you're forgetting in this.
Okay, you can make it, then I want Mr. Dutt to respond. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I want Mr. Dutt to respond first.
When you talk about Shaheen and ISI, now again, these are matters which I don't recall readily, but I do recall that we had sent a letter rogatory for conducting certain investigation in Pakistan, and to that we had been still awaiting the response. Till the time I handled the case, we had not got the permission to send a team to Pakistan.
I'm sorry to interrupt
nor
here,
did the Pakistan authorities really carry out the investigation on the points which had been mentioned in the letter rogatory.
Sir,
now, regarding the radar,
I'm picking up this story.
After this incident had occurred,
1 minute, Mr.
After the incident had occurred and the investigation by the CBI had started, it was then that we had looked into this aspect of the radar being operational in that area.
Sir, 1 minute.
These are questions which can best be answered by the authorities which handle these radars. And I'm afraid I don't have the details, so it would not be proper on my part to comment on this.
Okay, Niels, yes.
Every time we get down to the concrete things, like these facts, then Mr. Dutt unfortunately cannot remember. Dutt, could you then please explain us why the response of the Indian central government, the PMO, why was the response to these 3 informations that they received well in advance from MI5 was to send a snail mail letter, registered. Everybody in India knows a registered mail will take so long time to reach. It reached 1 week after the fact, which prompts the CPIM representative today to say that they have been the victims of a central conspiracy. But maybe also this fact eludes your memory.
No, but you see,
that the information that was sent, that the information sent to the state government was sent by snail mail.
I have one point. Udayan wants to come in. Apparently that officer was also promoted after retirement, etc. Udayan?
Yes. This Mr. Shanti Prakash, who was then a joint secretary in the Home Ministry, he sent a letter on the 12th of December warning the West Bengal government, and perhaps to ensure that it didn't reach the government on time, he sent it by registered post, which is the slowest way of sending a letter.
And Mr. Dutt,
and he went on. He enjoyed a very good career. He retired. He was chief secretary of Tripura, and after retirement, he got sinecures.
No, my point is this, and Mr. Dutt, I have my research ready on this. I'm going to send this across to you, Mr. Dutt. This is a company, airline company registered in Turks and Caicos Islands. If I turn the page, Mr. Dutt, because you don't know, this country needs to know what is going on. This is an agreement between Carol Air Services, which I think is Kim Davy's company, Kim, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And there is an agreement here with, I wish I can point this out, with Shaheen. Now, Shaheen is an aviation company with open and known links with the ISI of Pakistan. And you let such a plane with this kind of a backdrop enter India, knowingly, radar is switched off, everyone goes sleeping, land in Varanasi,
and come back and refuel.
The main protagonist says, I was let out by politicians. Peter Bleach is saying tonight the entire operation was carried out by the RAW and the MI5. Now, there are some things which will come home to roost. We need to know the real story in this. But my question to you, Peter...
Can I add something in here?
Yes, Peter, go on.
Can I...
Go on, Peter.
Can I just bring something in here?
Yes.
You know, Mr. Dutt, I'm listening carefully to what you're saying here, but one thing is escaping everybody's notice. Kim Davy has just told us that this was thought up in Delhi before any of your intelligence services received any information from MI5. Isn't it a fact that this was a political job from Delhi and you were cleaning up afterwards, and you did a very good job of it? You destroyed evidence, you changed evidence, you went to Britain and changed things there. You did a really good job of sweeping up after your political masters, because you knew about this before, long before MI5 sent the information to India. Isn't that a fact, Mr. Dutt?
The information that was sent by MI5 must have been sent to the intelligence agencies, and whatever was required to be conveyed by the Indian intelligence agencies to their counterparts or to the West Bengal government is something to which about which one has already mentioned something. Now, what exactly action was taken over there is a matter of record. And at present, I can only say that the CBI had looked into this aspect and pointed out the delay in taking action on that particular letter. Now, what was the action that was subsequently or at the end of the investigation taken? I am not aware of that, because as I mentioned earlier also, that this case had then been taken over by another officer, since I had probably left the CBI by that time.
But isn't it a fact, Mr. Dutt, that you knew about this before?
As regards Shaheen and the other, Kim Davy and other persons who may have been connected with this, I can only say this, that it was not known to us at that time. And even if it was known, things have to be brought in evidence. Just knowledge by itself is not enough. This knowledge that if these two persons were connected, that we had allowed the plane to come in. No, I will not agree with that. The CBI had never allowed the plane to come in, nor had anyone else for that matter.
I'm not talking about the CBI, Mr. Dutt. I'm talking about you.
As per the process.
You knew about this.
The company must have applied for overflight permission and landed at Varanasi for refueling. And what all was done, what acts of omission and commission were committed, those were definitely looked in by the CBI, and the reports were submitted to the government. And whatever follow-up action was taken, that at present I am unaware of.
Mr. Dutt, I think you have a future as a politician. You're talking off to one side.
Yes, Mr. Bleach.
Mr. Dutt, you knew about this beforehand. What MI5 reported to you was not news. You were in on this from the very beginning. And when it went wrong, you cleaned up with your colleagues. And I don't think this was any fresh evidence when MI5 phoned you up and said, or phoned your colleagues up and said, there's an arms drop coming. You knew it was coming because I think you were part of the planning. What do you say to that, Mr. Dutt? And let's not forget, when you're answering that, you kept me in jail for 8 years and nearly killed me.
Answer, because I do not know anything about the MI5 contacting any officer over telephone and speaking about the things which Peter Bleach has just alleged.
We're
not talking about that, Mr. Dutt. We're talking about before that. Before that, when this was planned at the very beginning by Kim Davy has already said he was asked to do this by politicians in Delhi. You were in on that, were you not, Mr. Dutt?
No, I was not, and I do not know anything about any political party or any political personnel looking into this matter from that angle. The CBI and I came into this case only after the plane had been intercepted and brought down at Bombay. Before that, the CBI nor I, at least we did not know anything about this incident or any such plan, or even your plan to be in the plane.
Mr. Dutt, do you really, Mr. Dutt, excuse me, do you really want to tell the Indian people that despite 3 informations given to the intelligence community in India, CBI knew nothing of this in advance? It is not convincing.
then you are
You know,
afraid
Mr.
you do
Dutt,
not know
I
the
know the
system
name of
as
the-
it exists over here. The intelligence agencies are separate, the investigating agency is separate, the law and order is a state subject, and these are things you need to be aware of to understand what I have just said.
Question here tonight is this.
I think it's amazing.
Mr. Dutt,
It's
I know
amazing
the name
that
of
a
the
plane.
intelligence agent.
1 second, gentlemen. You know, we have a strange situation here tonight. On the one side, there is a story of massive incompetence. And I think everyone watching this show tonight knows that when you mess up on the security front, what the consequences can be. On the other side, the incompetence is proven through various points. There's a Pakistan connection. I have documents of that. It's ignored. The CBI presentation represents a comic book. A letter is given out to a warning, and it is sent by registered post so that it reaches the quickest way possible. A radar suddenly doesn't work, it's switched off, and a plane enters from Pakistan, fully loaded with arms, after having been serviced by a company fully in cahoots with the ISI, flies straight in, drops the arms and flies away. The principal protagonist on the show tonight says, a member of parliament and all security personnel around them took me out in this car. Now, Mr. Dutt, would you at least agree with me on this? And I want to qualify this by saying, I don't think anyone's suggesting you organized the conspiracy, but the questions being asked is about whether you were aware of it. The questions were being asked about whether there was a botch up, whether there was knowledge, whether there was information. Would you at least agree that if this was not a conspiracy, that this was a story of massive incompetence?
Were absolutely not known to me or to the CBI at that point of time. In fact, this all has come to my knowledge only today when your TV release on this story started. Now, I think that it is only right that it is the organization which investigated the case which would be able to answer these questions in details. And what follow-up action was taken
you can't pass this on tonight, sir.
Or what action is still pending on these matters is something about which I cannot tell at present.
You cannot pass this on,
because
sir.
One other thing which has been mentioned is...
No, sir. One thing which I will not buy tonight. You know, we have heard this again and again. Don't ask me, let's go to the next post office, and the next post office, and the next post office, to the next bureaucrat, the next bureaucrat. I know part of the story, somebody knows part of the story, and the people of India have been denied the truth for 16 years on their biggest internal security mess up, sir. No, sir, you cannot pass this on to someone else tonight. Yeah. Because I cannot get somebody from the Intelligence Bureau or RAW on my studio to answer the questions. You are passing this on to RAW and to the intelligence agencies and to politicians who may not be in power, who will not come here publicly tonight to face the questions. You need to tell us a little bit more than what you have, Mr. Dutt.
I can only tell what I know and what I can recall. I cannot tell about which I am absolutely ignorant and I do not know anything about. And you must understand that the investigation of this case had gone on for a very long time, much beyond my tenure in the CBI. In fact, over here we are also talking about extradition of Kim Davy. He has mentioned that he was in Denmark all the time. Now this is something which is coming out now. At that time, the red corner notice had been issued to all the members of the Interpol. And if Denmark knew that this this accused was in Copenhagen, I think the government of Denmark should have immediately responded that this person was available.
Peter Bleach is responding. Peter Bleach, go on.
Look, this is television, so I'm not going to wave pieces of paper in front of you, but I have a briefcase on the floor here that has copies of the petitions to the court, the learned court that heard this case, saying that Kim Davy is sitting in Denmark giving interviews to the press. Mr. Davy himself will confirm that. And the CBI went to court and said that is not the case. The CBI has consistently lied to the courts. Why is it that CBI officers were show cause for fabricating false evidence in this case, possibly the most important case of its time, kind that has appeared in Indian courts in recent history? J.K. Dutt is involved with that, and I agree with Udayan. This is not good enough. The people of West Bengal particularly deserve an answer to this. This was 300 AK-47s that were coming into that country that would have wrought havoc. And the people who would have died would have been innocent people in West Bengal. Not the West Bengal Armed Police, not the recipients, innocent bystanders.
Niels.
That is what Mr. Dutt needs to answer questions on.
Niels.
You see, for 15 years, I have been publicly stating in Denmark that I would so much like a court case here in Denmark to prove that it was legitimate defense and there was a political involvement in this case. I have publicly stated again and again and again that if I would be tried in a proper court, which is not sitting in Calcutta with a judge employed by the CPIM, then I would be able to prove that according to international law, it was a legit operation to defend defendless people who had been the victims of state terror by the CPIM. So if I'm publicly sitting in Denmark asking for a court case to prove this, how can the CBI at the same time claim they don't know where I am?
Okay. Now, I just also want to hold up a document. Niels and Peter Bleach, I want you to stay on. Do not go away, because I'm going to come back to you in just some time. I want to hold up another piece of paper. This is the representation of Mr. Bill Ramel. Mr. Dutt, you say it was not available, you did not know. On the 27th of November 2002, the Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs in the United Kingdom, Mr. Bill Ramel, gives the full stories. I have a copy of what he says. He says, I can confirm that Mr. Bleach provided details to North Yorkshire Police about the arms drop on 14th September, 22nd September, and December 1995, 3 separate occasions. The information, and this is the part I'm reading tonight. The information was given by Mr. Bleach was passed on to the Indian authorities on 3 separate occasions, 10th November, 17th November, and 15th December 1995. We cannot come on air tonight and say we didn't know. Now let me introduce, please stay with me, Niels, Mr. Dutt, please stay with me, and Peter as well. Before I go into my political debate tonight,